Hey, Saturn Road. This is Kevin Pugh, and I want to today look at the I am statement that Jesus says, I am the bread of life. We find this verse in John chapter 6. He says it in verse 35, verse 41, verse 48, and verse 51. I'm going to start by reading John 6:35, where Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. Oftentimes when we look at this idea of Jesus as the bread of life, it really brings us back to an Old Testament story, even from a New Testament passage, of the time where God's people were led out of Egypt into the Promised Land. But in between these two places, Egypt and the Promised Land, there was this 40-year journey in the wilderness where God provided them with daily manna, this bread from heaven that allowed them to sustain themselves all of this time. But have you ever wondered why it took 40 years? Why would such a journey take that long? Let's put it into perspective. In Mark Batterson's book, Win the Day, he brings about some points that I've really never thought of before. It's become a very interesting topic that I've been chewing on for quite some time now. Did you know that the typical journey should have lasted about 11 days? 11 days from Egypt to the Promised Land. That's not a very long journey. You hold that up against 40 years and wow, what a difference. But have you thought about this? He broke it down this way in the book. If you were to leave Egypt and only walk 1 mile a day, a very conservative number, you would arrive in Canaan in 9 months. Wow, 9 months versus 11 days is already a big difference. 11 days, 9 months, 40 years of wandering in the desert, eating this manna from heaven to sustain them each day. But here's the thing that stood out to me in those numbers. 9 months. For those of you who don't know, my wife, Brittany Pugh, Kevin McKee's wife, Kimberly McKee, they're both pregnant. They are experiencing a very important 9-month period of carrying a child. And so often that idea of 9 months, we put into perspective by saying that's how long it takes to carry a child before they're born. What happens when a baby's born? There is complete, utter, desperate need for the mother between her and her baby. For those who don't have that mother, it becomes a little bit of a rocky road, and a surrogate mother is needed, someone to take care of this baby, to provide them with daily, hourly nourishment, basic, baseline milk. And it's not so much that they just need milk, they have to be close. There were so many times where Penny in her early days would wake up in the middle of the night crying and needed milk, but there were also times where Penny just needed her mom. She would wake up in the middle of the night, and no matter how much I tried, until she was in the arms of Brittany, she wasn't going to be okay. This same idea is what Jesus is trying to drive home. He's trying to bring up these ideas that we desperately need him. There was this other line in the book, Win the Day by Mark Batterson, that was very interesting to me. He asked the question, wouldn't it be nice if it was, give us this day our yearly bread, or give us this day our monthly or our weekly bread? Because to be honest, that's how a lot of us treat Jesus is, I want you on Sunday morning. I want you on Wednesday night. I want you on Christmas. I want you on Easter. I'll bring up this idea of desiring a closer relationship with you on New Year's. But we really, in our heart of hearts, only want him once a week, maybe once a month, probably around Christmas time. But what would happen if that's how we treated our bodies where we said, I'm only going to eat a big meal on Easter. I'm only going to feed myself once a week on Sunday morning. I don't think our bodies would last. And so Jesus brings this idea of bread and invoking this idea of a 9-month journey, this 40-year journey that could have been 9 months, to say, you desperately need me to sustain you, to be close to you, to provide you with those basic baseline needs. This idea of dependence is what we're aiming for. But is that really what we're giving Jesus? Are we truly dependent on him day in, day out? Every hour, I need thee.